Kirk Frost and Karlie Redd were never meant to be together again after years of unresolved tension and controversy. Much alone in the middle of a scandal that has shocked love and hip-hop lovers alike. However, rumors are already spreading, and it's not just messy, it might be explosive. Awkward situations. Karlie made a surprising admission that has caused a stir across the series. She informed a small handful of individuals and then hinted on social media that she could be pregnant. And the father says it's Kirk. However, it did not end there. Kirk lost control after hearing her confession. Some claim voices were raised. Others said it grew violent. The most alarming charge of all is that Cameron Kirk apparently smacked Karlie during a heated argument, shocking everyone. None of this was aired. Although there is no footage yet, sources report that producers had to interfere and that everyone is now scrambling to clean up the mess before the reunion. So, what truly happened that day? Was it just a heated debate? Or did someone eventually lose it under the weight of secrets, deceit, and won it all? Started on a rainy day in Atlanta, insiders say that Karlie Redd and Kirk Frost's intimate affair took an unexpected turn. There were no cameras or microphones there, just two individuals. With a lot of history, sitting face-to-face in a parking lot behind a studio, fans were already ecstatic when Karlie delivered a mystery message the night before, stating that certain truths cannot be hidden forever, no matter how painful. However, nobody knew what she meant until a few hours later, when rumors began. According to sources, Karlie unexpectedly arrived at the studio and insisted on "I am conversing with Kirk alone." What happened behind the closed door? Some claim it began out nicely, simply old. Flames are rekindling, while some claim it heated up rapidly when she told him something. The news that she could be pregnant and that the kid she believed was hers came as a shock to Kirk, who seemed to stay still. I gazed at her like she was nuts. "How can that even be possible?" I inquired. Karlie refused to back down, according to sources, before he made apologies. She maintained it occurred at one of their peaceful periods. Rasheeda, she stated she wasn't making any threats and was only being honest. But her honesty didn't go as expected. Kirk reportedly raged, "You always come with a mess when I'm finally at peace," accusing Karlie of attempting to ruin his marriage by reviving previous conflicts to remain relevant. However, what? Nobody predicted what came next. Someone near to the incident said they heard it, but no one observed it, so the word spread swiftly. One crew member who talked off the record stated they were told not to talk about it. But, within hours, the media found it. A post on a gossip site implying a fight amongst fans sparked a deluge of comments seeking explanations. Had Kirk really gone that far? The Frost family had been through storms before, including love triangles, adultery scandals, and even public DNA testing. However, if Kirk had touched Karlie, the situation would have been different, dangerous, and unpleasant. If that was false, why hadn't anybody disputed it? Meanwhile, Rasheeda remained quiet, too silent, and people started to wonder what she knew, and why she hadn't spoken out since if the allegations were even half true. It indicated her spouse had secrets he hadn't revealed or confessed, and worse, that he could have gone too far, which she couldn't forgive. Back in the studio, tensions rose. Security video from outside the building supposedly showed Kirk departing alone, his face distorted in fury, while Karlie was seen moments after clutching her face as she was escorted to a buddy borrowed her car. The video was secret, but someone who saw it told a popular site that Karlie seemed physically and mentally damaged. After that day, Karlie stopped posting on social media. There were no tweets, tales, or shades that entirely disappeared, which is odd for someone like her. I saw that her last post before to the encounter was full with enigmatic emotion. However, she was quiet for a week before returning with a message that surprised her fans. It was a blurry ultrasound image that was submitted to her story minutes before being withdrawn with no explanation or description, but it was sufficient. Screenshots from Karlie's pregnancy started spreading like wildfire, and fans connected the dots, slapped rumors, and provoked conflict. At the same time, Kirk's Instagram was full with cheerful family photos. Rasheeda was playing with the kids as if nothing had occurred, but her statements suggested differently. Fans swarmed his page with allegations, with some demanding the truth, and others labeling him a coward. One comment was spoken, "And if you did, shame on you," loud. While fans waited for an official statement, others believed she was protecting Kirk. Others assumed she was angry behind the scenes and confused what to do. According to someone close to her, she was taken aback. She knew Kirk had a history, but it devastated her. Following a leaked text conversation between Karlie and a friend in which she wrote, "I didn't want to tell him like that. I was afraid, but he needed to know." Bloggers started to put things Together, the communication did not mention violence, but it confirmed her pregnancy claim, and all people started to see her not as a villain, but as if things couldn't get much worse. After the event, Karlie was contacted by a Love and Hip Hop producer who volunteered to help her fix the matter. To file charges, fans were enraged, claiming that they will protect the guys at any costs. Expenses. One tweet said that Karlie deserves justice, not quiet. Meanwhile, new behind-the-scenes details emerged. According to one source, Karlie had previously sought legal representation, but was told that in the absence of witnesses or video, her word would be considered against his. As a consequence, she withdraws. While all of this was happening, Kirk and Rasheeda were planned a trip to show the world that their marriage was as strong as ever. However, viewers weren't buying it. Her friends claimed she felt duped by the program, the system, and even the fans who didn't believe her. They're trying to make us forget what happened, but nobody did. In fact, the silence heightened the intensity of the situation. Fans started rewatching prior episodes, highlighting every discussion. The relationship between Kirk and Karlie now appeared questionable. "This is damage control," someone said on a blog. She didn't need to say anything else, since everyone in the room knew what it meant. The presenter hesitated before asking, "Is it true that you may be expecting?" Karlie offered a little nod, and the audience's amazement was instantaneous. Fans watching from home started. The host asked bluntly, "Is Kirk the father?" Kirk squirmed in his seat, his jaw clenched. Before the program had concluded, blowing up Twitter snippets were edited and shared. Karlie did not flinch. "I didn't come here to play games," she said. "Come here because the truth has been hidden long enough." The camera moved to Rasheeda, who remained still. Her fingers gripped the armrest's edge so hard that it looked like her knuckles may protrude. But she stayed mute until Kirk spoke. His voice was low, almost hushed, as if he was trying to remain calm. "We're not even sure whether that baby is mine," he added. "She could say anything." Karlie turned to face him, and their gazes connected. "You and I both realize it's conceivable. Don't lie only to preserve face." That's when things became heated. Kirk tried to dodge by stating he made a single error that he hardly remembered, but Karlie wouldn't have it. She implored me to keep it a secret and snapped. "You said you'd take care of things, then you disappeared. Now you're claiming I created it up?" The room erupted. Someone murmured to another, "He's caught," muttering few of the cast members who had mostly escaped the scandal. Everything was falling apart until the unexpected piece came. The presenter carefully stated the online rumors that had been circulating, but it wasn't the smack. However, the presenter asked Kirk, "Do you want to respond to the reports about what happened in the studio last month?" Space hardened. "I'm not going to sit here and gossip." He let out a snarl. "People say a variety of things to acquire what they desire." Karlie's voice cut through him like glass, saying, "Is it gossip if I lived it?" I was shivering, weeping, and embarrassed in front of those who had vowed to protect me. The silence was excruciating, and the whole production crew remained mute. "Do you want the truth?" Karlie wasn't done, but one understood whether to cut the situation or leave it alone. "I approached you as a lady and told you the truth, and you freaked out. You slapped your fist on the table and yelled in my face. And sure, I felt it," she continued, her voice quivering. "Now, even though I never claimed you struck me, we'll say you terrified me." That statement remained in the air. It wasn't an allegation, and it wasn't dangerous legally, but it was strong, and everyone in the room knew precisely what she was saying without saying it out loud. Rashea. "Finally, what now?" the speaker asked. She replied, her voice flat. Against Kirk's gaze, "Will you continue to lie, or will you admit that you have been dragging us both through hell?" Kirk did not answer. Despite years of unresolved tension and debate, Kirk Frost did not reply. Karlie Redd was never meant to be together again, much alone in the middle of a controversy that has left love and hip-hop lovers in complete astonishment. However, rumors are already circulating, and it's not just messy, it might be explosive. Awkward interactions? Karlie made a shocking announcement. That is making a stir around the business. She informed a limited group of individuals, and she then hinted on social media that she could be pregnant, and the father believes it's Kirk. However, it didn't end there. Now there's flooding, and Kirk lost control after hearing her. Some claim voices were raised, while others claim the situation escalated into violence. The most alarming charge of all is that Cameron Kirk apparently smacked Karlie during a heated argument, shocking everyone. Although no footage has been released, sources report that producers had to interfere and that everyone is now working to clean up the wreckage before the reunion. What happened that day? Was it merely a heated dispute? Or did someone finally lose it due to the weight of secrets? Insiders say the deceit started on a gloomy day in Atlanta. When a private meeting between Karlie Redd and Kirk Frost took an unexpected turn, there were no cameras or microphones present. Just two individuals with a lot of history sitting face-to-face in a parking lot outside a studio. Fans were already ecstatic when Karlie posted a mystery message the previous evening, stating, "Some truths can't stay buried forever, no matter how painful it is." However, no one knew what she meant until a few hours later, when rumors began. According to sources, Karlie unexpectedly arrived to the studio and insisted on meeting with Kirk alone. What happened behind the closed door? Some say it began gently, with old fires rekindling. Others say it immediately heated up when she told him something. Kirk was taken aback by the revelation that she could be pregnant and that the kid she believed she had was hers. He sat still and gazed at her as if she had gone nuts. "How is that even possible?" asked. According to accounts, Karlie refused to back down and said it occurred during one of their quiet periods before he made peace with Rasheeda. She stated she wasn't making any threats and was only being honest. Nonetheless, her honesty did not go as intended. Kirk reportedly raged, "You always bring a mess when I'm finally at peace," accusing Karlie of attempting to ruin his marriage by reviving previous conflicts to be relevant. What nobody expected was what occurred next. Someone near to the situation reported hearing it, but no one saw it. However, the story swiftly spread. A crew member who talked off the record they stated they were warned not to discuss it, but within hours, social media uncovered it. A post on a gossip site, the site implied a disagreement amongst fans, and the comments came in wanting answers. Had Kirk really gone that far? The Frost family had already faced hurricanes, including love, triangles, infidelity scandals, and even public DNA testing. However, if Kirk had touched Karlie, it would have been different, hazardous, and nasty. If that was false, why wasn't anybody contesting it? Meanwhile, Rasheeda remained mute, and people started to question what she knew and why she hadn't spoken. Since if the allegations were even partly genuine, it meant her husband had secrets he hadn't revealed, admitted, and worse. Back in the studio, tensions rose. Security video from outside the building apparently showed Kirk departing alone, his face distorted in irritation, while Karlie was spotted minutes later clutching her face while being taken to her car by a companion. The video was private, but someone who saw it told a well-known site that Karlie seemed physically and emotionally damaged. After that, Karlie ceased posting on social media. No tweets, no tales, no shadow, simply vanishing, which is rare for someone like her. I saw that her last post before to the meeting, despite being filled with deep emotion, she went quiet for a week before returning with a message that surprised her fans. Screenshots showing Karlie's pregnancy were added to her story only a few minutes before it was erased, with no explanation or description. At the same time, Kirk's Instagram was brimming with beautiful family photos, and suspicions started to spread like wildfire as followers connected the dots, slapped rumors, and engaged in conflict. Rasheeda was playing with the kids as if nothing had occurred, but the comments on his page suggested differently. Fans slammed him with allegations, some demanding the truth, others branding him a coward. One reply read, "And if you did, then shame on you." While supporters waited for an official, some believed she was protecting Kirk, while others assumed she was furious. According to someone close to her, she was caught off guard and uncertain of what to say. She knew Kirk had a history, but this crushed her. After a leaked text conversation between Karlie and a pal in which she wrote, "I didn't want to tell him like that because I was afraid, but he needed to know," bloggers started to put things together. The letter did not mention violence, but it did support her pregnancy claim, and everything after the event. Karlie was contacted by a Love and Hip Hop producer who promised to help her handle the matter. Provided she agreed not to, fans were outraged and vowed to protect the guys at any costs. One tweet said, "Karlie needs justice, not quiet." Meanwhile, further behind-the-scenes information emerged. According to one, Karlie had previously obtained legal advice, but was advised that in the absence of witnesses or video, her word would be against his dot as a consequence. While all of this was going on, Kirk and Rasheeda planned a trip to show the world that their marriage was stronger than ever. But viewers weren't buying it. Her friends claimed she felt duped by the program and the system, as well as the fans who didn't trust her. "They're hoping to make us forget what happened, but nobody was." In fact, the silence made things worse. Fans started rewatching past episodes, pointing out any encounter between Kirk and Karlie that seemed suspicious. "This is damage control," someone wrote on a blog. She didn't need to say anything else, since everyone in the room knew what she meant. The presenter hesitated before asking, "Is it true that you may be expecting?" Karlie gave a slight nod, and the audience's amazement was evident. Fans watching from home started, and the presenter asked bluntly, "Is Kirk the father?" Kirk moved in his seat, his jaw clenched. Blowing up Twitter clips were already being altered and released before. Karlie didn't even flinch when the section concluded. "I didn't come here to play games," she replied. "Come here because the truth has been concealed long enough." The V camera switched to Rasheeda, who was still immobile. Her fingers were holding the armrest's edge so hard that her knuckles looked to protrude, but she stayed mute until Kirk spoke. His voice was low and almost quiet, as if he was fighting to retain decorum. "I don't even know if that baby is mine," he replied. Karlie turned to face him, and their eyes connected. "You and I both know it's feasible, so don't lie simply to preserve face." That's when things became hot. Kirk tried to deflect by stating he made a single mistake that he hardly remembered. But Karlie wouldn't have it. She begged me to keep it a secret before snapping. "You claimed you'd take care of it, then disappeared, and now you're claiming I made it up." The room exploded, as someone said to another, "He's captured," muttering numerous cast members who normally avoided the mess. Everything was about to break apart when the unexpected chunk came. The presenter carefully noted, though. The presenter asked Kirk, "Do you want to respond to the reports about what happened at the studio last month? There had been some internet rumors going around, but they weren't true." Space hardened. "I'm not going to sit here and chatter," he hissed. "People say anything to obtain what they want." Karlie's voice cut through him like glass, saying, "Is it gossip if I lived it?" I was shivering, weeping, and embarrassed in front of those who had vowed to protect me. The silence was terrible, and even the production crew remained mute. "Do you want the truth?" Karlie was not done, but one understood whether to terminate the scenario or let it run. "I approached you as a lady and informed when I told you the truth. You freaked out, slapped your fist on the table, and yelled in my face. I felt that," she said, her voice cracking now. "Even though I never stated, you struck me, I will admit, you terrified me." That statement remained in the air. It wasn't an accusation and wasn't legally dangerous, but it was strong, and everyone in the room knew. She said precisely what she meant, without stating it out. Rasheeda finally spoke. "What happens now?" She spoke honestly into Kirk's eyes. "Will you continue to lie? Will you admit that you've been dragging us both through hell?" Kirk did not react. Instead, he just sat there, his lips compressed, his nose breathing, and the room erupted with emotion. Rasa got up. "I've had your back, despite your lying, cheating, having hidden children, but now you're sitting here acting like a victim, as if we were insane for calling you out," she said, turning to face him. Next, she turned to face Karlie and said, "You should have told me, not for drama or the cameras, but because we were intended to be better." "Now I do," Rasheeda remarked through tears in her eyes. The story abruptly altered, and Karlie nodded. "I wanted to, but I wasn't sure whether you'd believe me." Kirk attempted to speak once more, but no one was listening. A break was called, and cameras turned to the two ladies, who had been presented as adversaries and battling for the same guy for years, now standing together, not because they had forgiven one another, but because they were both tired of being used. The performers began to move in. Their producer rushed up to Karlie and whispered in her ear, and as she nodded, the internet picked up on something. They knew Karlie had brought documents, and later that evening, some blurry images appeared online that showed a folded package on her lap. Some believe producers were concerned because what she had in the package may confirm the pregnancy and Kirk's participation. Some assume it was a medical report, while others think it was DNA. In the days that followed, it wasn't just reality TV anymore. It was real. Fans went into full investigation mode, connecting every dot they could find from earlier episodes, old postings, and even unknown information that was claimed to exist from a deleted segment. When Kirk halted, some asked that VH1 broadcast everything uncensored, while others wanted Kirk removed from the program. Petitions were formed as a result, becoming viral with the hashtags #ProtectKarlie, #Kier, Kirk must go, #JusticeForTruth, and eventually Carrie released another video without any filters or glamour, just her speaking straight into the camera, saying, "I didn't ask for this, but I'm not going to hide longer. I've made errors, but I'm not going to be silenced. I came with the truth, and I'm going to keep saying it." What happened after the video went viral set the tone for Karlie's videos surfaced on the timeline, and admirers instantly filled the comments with support. Within hours, scores of reality TV bloggers, former cast members, and even verified accounts came forward. And the tale, which had begun as a one-slap rumor, was about to become something a lot larger. I started spreading it again. What began as rumors, Kirk and a slap turned into a public reckoning, and people began asking more in-depth questions, such as why Karlie was supposedly under pressure to remain silent, why this picture had never been aired, and what role, if any, VH1 and the producers had in keeping everything private. Rumors began to swirl. Insiders have relationships to the production crew argued that the scene was too explosive for broadcast, but some said that Kirk had vowed to quit the set until the issue was remedied. Then followed the most surprising development. Yet, additionally, an anonymous post on a gossip site claimed to have footage not just of the altercation, but also of Kirk standing up, shouting something at Mike, and storming toward Karlie, prompting crew members to intervene. No one knew if the post was genuine, but it rapidly went viral. In any case, people began condemning not just Kirk, but also VH1, Mona Scott. They looked for anybody else who could have helped with his protection. Quote, "They protect the wrong." Ones began to spread, and the pressure increased until Kirk eventually spoke out, but not with an apology. Not even just a photo of him sitting in a studio with the tagline "Still Making Moves" pushed fans over the brink. The fiery statements were enough to keep the fire burning. Even if Arasa A was dealing with her own storm, lifelong fans started bringing up prior interviews in which she defended Kirk. Scandals. One of the unearthed clips showed her declaring